Okay, welcome back. Um, the last lecture we talked about how to install the packages, install the software that we need, including what? What software did we install last time? Visual Studio Code, Git, Miniconda. Okay, and so once we have that, then we can use those software to create so-called a Python environment. So in today's lecture, we're going to cover how to create a Python environment because we already installed the packages. And from now on, we're going to use those Python environment to execute and write Python code. But we need to create the environment. So like I said last time, you can use Miniconda or you can use Anaconda. So either one is fine if you install either one. So you can go to the overview here. Then we have the Miniconda, Anaconda. Like I said, Miniconda is a smaller version of the Anaconda. Anaconda is more like a scientific. It has included a lot of scientific packages. It's pretty big. So we just use the Miniconda, and then it comes with Conda, C-O-N-D-A. So Conda basically you can think about is just a command line program allow you to create Python environment. Then we can use it to coding. So if you go to the Miniconda here, go to the tab Miniconda, and from here, we already installed last time. So now we're just going to use it to create Conda environment. And I put some sample commands in here. Like I said, Miniconda is what we need to write to run Python code locally. Okay, but there are also a lot of cloud computing environment that has Conda built in, so you can also use the same command to install Python packages. And I'm going to show you multiple ways. If you go to the overview page in here, I also show you different ways to install packages. And this is what we're going to cover today. In the future, if you go online, if you search, you ask ChatGPT, and then, oh, I want to do this. Can you show me how to do it? Give me some examples. You're going to give you some sample code. And it probably give you instruction, okay, you need to install this package. You need to install that package. So after today, you will understand like, okay, how do I install it, okay? Because the package is just like, think about your iPhone, your Android phone, right? You go to the App Store, click, you search, you click, and then you download, install the packages. Python is very much similar, and there are two ways you can install the packages, either using Conda or using the other one called pip. So we're going to cover both of them here today. Pip basically is more like comes with the Python program. It's called pip install something, and the package come from if you go to the website called pypi.org, Python package index. So this one is where all the packages that being hosted. So this is kind of like the iOS App Store. Okay, so from here you can source any packages you like. If you look at the page in here, right now has 564,000 packages. Of course, a lot of them are not very widely used, and there might be a lot of garbage up there. So you don't want to install everything. Okay, this is not really quality control. Anyone can put something up there, and sometimes there will be some virus. So be careful. You only want to install those that are widely used, those are well known. You don't want to install something that you have never encountered, and then sometimes you will install some virus into a computer. So be careful. But this is the most comprehensive Python package repository. Okay, and you can source anything. For example, you can source NumPy. This is probably one of the most popular ones doing the numerical scientific computing, and it's being used by many other packages. So when you search the name, you're going to come up in here, and you can click and then look at the details. So this is basically just like you are browsing the iOS app, and you search the name, click, and then you see the home page. And from there, there might be like like a README page in here. You can also click to go to the home page to look at those packages. So you want to make sure that you are installing packages that has a lot of uses. I'm not sure if it's showing up in here. It doesn't show up in here, but yeah, sometimes you will show how many stars, how many people are using that. But this is the most comprehensive Python package repository. And if you search any package, it's going to show you here, pip install something. And I'm going to show you later how you can actually call the pip install packages. The second website is called Conda Forge, okay, condaforge.org, okay. You can just Google it, you're able to find it. I will go back to update the website so that you can have the link you can click next time. So this is another Python package repository. And this one is a much smaller one. So if you go to the condaforge.org and then click packages, so from here you will see 25,000 packages. So this is roughly only 5% of the packages compared to the Python package index repository. This one here is a smaller number, but most of the popular ones are actually already here. And this one is community maintained and it's quality control. Okay, so this one here is pretty safe because in order to publish this one, your package need to be reviewed before it can be accepted. Okay, basically there's kind of a safeguard to make sure that the packages come from a trusted source. Not everyone can publish on this one unless you pass the quality check and then publish. So the recommended way would be install packages from here, not from pip. Okay, so think about 500,000 down to 25,000, and it's only a small percentage of packages. And I do teach another course that teach how to publish packages on here, and I publish I think 56. I don't know how many, but I publish a lot of packages here. So you can do the same thing. You can search, for example, NumPy. Most of the popular ones to be available both on NumPy and PyPI. PyPI easier to publish, anyone can do it. No quality control. Conda for quality control, but not all the packages you want to use might already in here. If it doesn't, you can request to publish it. In this course, we just showing you how to use. We don't show you how to publish packages. But just let you know, right? If you come here, how many total downloads? 80 million downloads. It's a very, very popular one. And similarly, you can search, for example, how about Gmap, okay? For example, the one that we're going to install later. So this is the one that I created a couple years ago. It also has 275,000 installs in a couple years. And the other one would be Map. So this will be the two one that we're going to install that we'll be using throughout the semester. And okay, so this one has 160,000. Still quite a decent number of downloads. And when you go to any packages, we see here, Conda install, Conda for leaf map. Okay, so that means you can install packages from PyPI. You can also install packages from Conda for. Again, the recommended way we always to install from here because it's quality control. Unless something is not available, then we use pip. And the other advantage of using this one is because a lot of packages have been pre-compiled, and so it's much easier to install compared to using PyPI. This is more like related to the computer software. Some of the packages like need some compiler called C compiler, C++ compiler. Kind of like when you download software from the internet, sometimes you're trying to install on Windows. It's going to tell you you didn't meet this requirement, you didn't meet that, you need to install something. And most likely you have been using, for example, ArcGIS, right? ArcGIS Pro, it asks you to update, and you downloaded it, and you click install, and then it goes through the end saying that, oh, you're missing this dependency, and then you just cancel everything, and then go from that. Conda Voice, most likely it has been pre-compiled, so all the dependencies are already there, so it's much easier to install, especially for Geospatial. There are a lot of packages that are very difficult to install using pip because they require on some low-level languages, for example, C or C++, and sometimes you're just not able to do that. Conda Voice is usually like very easy. It has everything you need already there. So when it's so it is two-way, but again, always remember PIP is the program come with the Python language, and it's the easiest one to install, but not super safe, and it doesn't deal with the dependency conflict. I want to show you later, like what do you mean by dependency conflict? Because when you create something, every package built on top of other packages, and sometimes some packages has a specific requirement. For example, right, each of you here has some preference about the food that you want, right? And if I'm organizing the event and trying to like please everyone, sometimes it's very difficult. Some are vegetarian, some like want pork, some doesn't want, some want beef. How do I make sure that everyone in the same room, that I provide the food that everyone is happy with? And sometimes it's not easy. And people sometimes not compatible. If I don't like you, I don't want to see him in the same room. Then you'll be in trouble. You will never be able to actually do that in the same environment. So Conda can help you manage that. It will tell you, okay, this package doesn't work with this one. You cannot install them simultaneously. You have to create separate one. Okay, put them into different room. And Conda allows you to create as many virtual environments as you like. You can, if they don't like each other, you create separate room, you put them in individual, and then you can use them individually. So it has a lot of flexibility that allows you to do that. Understand? So pip, Conda are the two ways that we install packages into your computer system. And what we can use, they use the mini Conda. Mini Conda comes with Conda, so we can use the Conda command to install stuff. Make sense? Okay, so next I'm going to show you how to do that. So you can open your Anaconda prompt, go to all apps, or you can use the terminal. So if you already installed Miniconda, you should find the one somewhere here, Anaconda prompt. If you use Anaconda, you should have Anaconda 3 and then Anaconda prompt, and you can just click to open it. So I'm going to click. So for my Anaconda prompt, it doesn't work. It's already broken, so it doesn't actually open. It disappears. I could not fix it. Sometimes it's like weird issue, but you should have this one open on your computer here, either the lab computer or your personal computer. And once it's open, then we can start executing this command. And I'm going to show you step by step what each command line means. Okay. And for me, I would just open my terminal. My terminal still works, so I can go to anywhere that I like. Right click. You don't need to follow me if you already have an Anaconda prompt open. So for me, I can open the terminal here. And so for you guys, if you once you open the Anaconda prompt, you will probably see something like this. A parenthesis at the beginning, say base, and then a file path. Do you see that? Yes? So the base means it's just the base environment. And you can think about the base is like the entrance to the building, entrance to this geography building. Inside there, I can create virtual rooms. For example, this classroom, that classroom. You never want to mess up with the base environment. Okay? Don't try to install something. If it breaks, your entire Conda environment is broken. You have to uninstall and reinstall. So try to avoid install packages in this one, create a virtual one. And the first command that you can use is Conda env list Conda environment. So basically list all the Conda environment inside there. It's going to show you, do you have any existing environment already created? Here is just going to show you the base. And then there's a star here. Star means is the active one. The one has been activated. So for now, most likely if you are new, you will just say base and then nothing else. Okay. So that means right now we are in the base environment. So what we can do is to create a virtual environment with, outside the base environment. Like I said, you don't want to mess up the base environment. If it is broken, then sometimes it will be very difficult to recover unless you reinstall and install everything. So here next, let's try to create a Conda environment. So you can either copy this one and then paste, or I recommend it just remember that. Okay, so Conda and then space create -n or -n. N represent name. So what we're doing here is to create a virtual environment, and you can give a name. So I can give a name called Geo. Okay, Geo. For example, this will be create a name. For example, BGB 206. Okay, BGB 301. You give a name, and the name should not have space. Okay. Usually you can give a lowercase or uppercase. It's up to you, but I usually use lowercase. And after that, you can type Python. Okay. If you don't specify the version, by default, it will install the latest version. So Python right now, the latest one is 3.12. Usually you want to install one version lower, because the latest version, sometimes it takes some time for all the packages to be bringing up to date to be compatible. Okay, so to be safe, you install a version, for example, one version lower. So 3.12, you want to install 3.11. We can also install 3.10, 3.9. 3.7 is kind of duplicated, So you need at least 3.8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, and what you can do, I usually specify, for example, 3.11, just to be safe. This has been tested, make sure everything works. So Conda create -n, and then give a name, and then Python equal to something, hit enter. So what we are doing right now is to create a virtual environment so that we can use Conda to install the packages that we need for this class. And it might take some time. So what this is doing is going to online, figure out what packages they need to install, and you should be presented with this screen here. Usually all you need is just hit enter, and it's going to download all the packages and install. And that's pretty much it. So right now, we are basically creating a virtual Conda environment, and it's going to download all the packages, and after a couple seconds, you should be done. So once you create this virtual environment, you need to activate it. So basically, once you get into this building, if you want to come to class, you need to get into CB126. Otherwise, you're not in there. You cannot really do anything. You're still outside. So it's going to take some time here executing transactions. So make sure, usually this first step should be pretty easy. You should not see any error messages. At the end, you will present this one asking you to activate the environment, blah, blah. So you do want to activate the environment. So you can type Conda activate Geo, okay? Remember the name, whatever name that you chose, you need to use the same name. So if I'm using Geo, then Conda activate Geo. This is the name of the environment. After you activate it, on the left side, what do you notice? Change the environment. So right now you see the parentheses, Geo. That means right now you are inside this environment. So once you're inside, you can do whatever you want. You can mess up everything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the outside. So what we are doing here in this classroom, it will not affect the whole way outside the building because it's inside this environment. So once you're here, now we can install any packages. Assume this is the room that you already have. And then next time, if you go online, you search any packages. For example, here, you can copy this one, paste, hit enter. You will install this into the environment. You can also go to Conda first, for example, Conda install. So all you need is just copy this command and then come to paste. But before doing that, I would like to recommend here that you install another package called Mamba. Okay, this might be very confusing. We are using Anaconda or Mini Conda, and then that comes with Conda. Now we're going to use Mamba, and then we're going to use Pip, right? There's so many. The reason for that is Conda used to be very popular in the early days, but after a couple of years, packages grow, and then right now, some of the packages has a lot of dependencies, hundreds of dependencies, direct or indirectly. And like I said, right now, if I'm trying to organize a whole event, or no, just to have a party and want to prepare food for this class, okay? So 14 students, probably it's easier for me, like I can prepare. But imagine like if I have 1,000 students, I need to prepare some food, just one dish, okay? That everyone will eat. Right? 14 people probably I can come up with, but if I have 1,000 or 200, it's going to be challenging. Some people have allergic, some people have preference. You're never going to get it. And Honda used to be okay with that, but now it's not. It's very slow. So basically, you need to resolve the dependency. For example, I need to hand out a paper like, what do you eat? What do you want to eat? What do like everyone signed up, and then eventually I try to figure out, okay, what food can I prepare? And Conda is just not feasible. So it's okay if you're able to try to use Conda install and then packages, blah, blah, whatever name, and then hit enter, it takes forever. Then you will need to use Mamba. So one thing I can, for example, I can try it out here. This one probably is okay. I can just copy, for example, Conda, or let me type so that you can see what I'm doing here. So I can type Conda install -C, C represent channel. Okay, so Conda can install packages from the official Anaconda channel, or you can install from the Conda force. Usually we just use Conda force because it's community maintained. It has a large number of packages. So Conda -force, and then you can type, for example, leaf map. Hit enter. Conda install hyphen Conda first, and then the name of the package. And once you hit enter, you see here, it says going to collect package metadata. It's going to think about that and trying to figure out what package version that's required in order to make everyone happy. And this one sometimes can be spinning for a couple minutes without figuring out what to do. And you can continue to wait, right? Sometimes it's just not patient. It's like, whatever, okay, I'm just going to cancel, stop everything. And this is what is happening because this leaf map has, I think, 15, 20 dependencies, okay? And then let each one have another 10 or 15 dependencies. And at the end, overall, it has almost 300 dependencies. So we are trying to install 300 dependencies into the same environment. It takes time to figure out who is compatible with whom. And it's just not feasible. So you see here, it keeps waiting, and it's wasting time. So what I can do, Control C to stop it, because I don't want to wait. It's just too slow. Okay, so you can cancel it. So what you can do is to install another package called Mamba. So Mamba is kind of similar to Conda, but it's so much faster to resolve the dependencies. So similarly, you can use your keyboard on your the up arrow, and so you will pull up the previous command that you enter. So for this one, we're going to use Mamba. So Conda install Conda first, and then Mamba. Okay, M-A-M-B-A. Or you can copy the command from here, whatever you like. And you also notice in here, I use hyphen base and then Mamba. Either one is fine. So if you install into the base environment, that means you don't need to install it every time for every environment. So if this is something you want, you can also copy this one. Otherwise, Mamba will be installed into the geo environment that we install. If you're outside, you can use Mamba. So because Mamba will be used across environment, it is okay to install into the base environment. But this should be the only package that you mess up the base environment. Don't use other stuff because you'll be breaking stuff. So for me, I can come here, copy, and then remove all this stuff here. Control V, hit enter. Hopefully it doesn't break your environment, but there's no guarantee. If there's any error message, you just remove this one, remove the hyphen M base, and then install it into just this environment, and that's fine as well. So let me know if you run into any issues. If not, this is what you're going to install. So the first time it might be a little bit slow, but after that it should be so much faster. So going forward, if you search on the internet and then it has instructions saying that, oh, you can use Conda to install something, you just replace Conda with Mamba, M-A-M-B-A. So Mamba is a C++ implementation of Conda, and it's so much faster again. And this is sometimes it's like very annoying, but this is something that you have to deal with if you want to install a new package. Not sure how long it's going to take, but if it is very slow, then we try to install into our geo environment. Right now I install into the base because the base environment already has a bunch of packages. So the more packages that you already have in an existing environment, the longer time it's going to figure out what package version to install. So this is a normal process. Okay, good. So not too bad, right? 20, 30 seconds. And after that, just hit enter. It's going to install Mamba into the base environment. And after that, we should be able to use Mamba to install packages that are so much faster. Do you see any error message for this step? Or is it still spinning? Still working? Okay. Yeah, if it doesn't work, let me know. Well, we can slow down. But this will be one time only. The Mamba installation should be one time only. But of course, you can create a new environment. You can follow the same steps, but you can give a different name. So give a different name to your environment as well. And so after that, you can just copy this one. So you're noticing here, after that, I'm using Mamba install, okay? So anywhere you see Conda install, you replace with Mamba install. And that's it. So let me come back to here. Almost done. Let me copy this one. Okay, it's done. Yes? What error? Okay, like I said, if it doesn't work, that means you don't have the admin right. You remove this too. Remove the -base. You just install Mamba into your environment. That one is because it's installing stuff into your user directory. So you should be able to install that to your directory. So remove -n and hit enter again. You should be able to do that. All right. So for those of you already installed, again, copy the last line and then come back to here. Control V. Then hit enter. Oops. I see. So my Mamba is not working. Like I said, it's broken. So I have to, I think, figure out a way to do that. Again, for you, just copy and paste, hit enter, see what happens, and probably spinning for a couple seconds, and then asking you can install like 300 packages. You just hit enter, then you should be good. So for me, I think because my mini Conda is broken, so I need to go to my user directory to find out the Mamba. So I'm going to go here, and then I think it's under the script or something. There might be a Mamba here. Yeah, so I have this one actually here. I can do it like this way. Again, it's a little bit annoying because my computer is broken. Anyway, so for me, I will just Conda activate Geo. You don't have to follow me if you already installed it. And after that, I can use .geo Mamba. Oops. Mamba.exe install. I haven't seen Conda first. Map, leave map. Hopefully it works. Otherwise, I don't know what to do. You see, it's going to take some time. And so for you, you should see this one earlier, right? Spinning and then telling you. So this is the first time it might be slow, but after that it's pretty fast. So whatever package you're going to install, you can quickly figure out the dependency, different version, because each Python package has like different version. And some of those like have specific requirements, and sometimes it might be very difficult to resolve. Basically trying to figure out how to put everyone in the same room. Everyone is happy with each other. And so the more packages you have, the more likely you're going to be very difficult. Yes? Uh-huh. Anyone having the similar error message? 1 second. Okay, let me on this one. Yeah, it seems the Mamba is broken. So what you can do is to Conda in. Yeah, so try basically if it doesn't work in the base environment, you can Conda install Mamba into your environment and then really? Yeah, looks like your computer is me. Might be me. So if it doesn't work, yeah, if it doesn't Mamba doesn't work, then use Conda. It just takes a little bit longer. And the last result will be use pip. Okay, don't worry too much. I will have you figure out that later after class. So, and yes, it's recorded. Yeah, yeah. It's okay. It's totally fine. I can tell you, This is that takes a lot of time, like to, oh, it's still spinning. Yeah, this is taking way too long. It should not be this long. My computer is recording the video, so it's using a lot of resources. So sometimes it can be a little slow. But again, the last result, just use pip install. Pip install Gmap and leafmap. You'll be very quick. But the problem is that pip doesn't really care about who is happy with each other. I just put it all in the same room. You guys figure out later. Conda and Mamba more like we figure out in advance rather than later. But if this one really doesn't work, then that would be the last resort that you can for the packages. And even if it doesn't work on your computer, we have Google Colab. We can use the browser as well, so you don't have to worry too much. There are different ways we can write code and execute. But I'm just showing you, if you're doing Python programming, this is most likely something that you need to know if you want to set up the environment on your local computer or on whatever computer you want to use. And this is super weird. It should not take this long. Anyone has finished the installation? You're getting it, it's still spinning? Oh, okay, that's good. So that means your computer is faster than mine. Anyone else having issues? If you see like downloading, just hit enter and then it's going to finish. And after that, it should tell you like all the packages that has been installed. So yeah, I kind of okay, finally, okay, it figured out. So now look at this. How many packages? 354. I'm just installing Gmap and leafmap, right? So this is where we really mean staying on the shoulders of the giant, right? Because every package is built on top of something else. So although Gmap and leafmap only have 10, 20 dependencies, each one is also has a lot of other dependencies. And you will see here, this is how many in there and how many you need to download. And some of them, if you downloaded before, if there's already the latest one, it will not download again. So all you need to just hit enter and then just let it finish. Then we should be good to go. Again, if Mamba doesn't work, then use Conda. If Conda doesn't work, then use pip. Okay, so these are the 3 ways we can use to install packages. And hopefully after this done, I can show you, for example, how to do some simple coding. And you can always go back to the overview page in here, right? So this is basically this one. I'm just showing you this. And there are also different ways you can use pip. Also, you can install from GitHub. You can also install from a local file. I will show you different ways later. But like I said, next time if you go online, if there's any packages show you this command, just replace Conda with Mamba. If your Mamba is working properly. Otherwise, try Conda. It's going to be slow. It's going to take you a couple minutes. Or sometimes you will not figure out. You will just say it's spinning forever. Then you have to Control C and stop it. And so let me see here. They're almost there. 457. And so after that, I may probably I will update the website to give to maybe have a couple more commands. So this is pretty much what we need, right? Create a Conda environment, install Mamba, and then install packages. That's it. And if you want to create a new environment, for example, this is Python 3.11. If you go online and then find some source code, tells you that, oh, this one only works with Python 3.8. It is not compatible with the latest version. Then you can create an environment and then just specify Python equal to 3.10, 3.9, whatever, and then you install packages in there. So there are different ways you can do that. But this is the first way, and okay. So every time, if you need to use the packages inside this environment, you always need to open the terminal or you enter Conda prompt. And the first step is always going to be Conda activate. Understand? So if you want to start from scratch, if you turn off the computer and you come back the next time, and now you want to do it, don't just say, oh, I just like type the command. You need to get into the environment first, okay? Otherwise, it's not going to work. So always be careful if you need to install new packages. Make sure that you don't install into the base environment. Otherwise, you will be messing things up. So always the first step will be Conda activate. Okay, so for me it's the geo. I'm gonna Conda activate geo, and then you can start doing things inside. So let's check again. Anyway, so again, you can open Anaconda prompt again. You can open multiple command lines together. So for me, I can show you here, right? I can go to my downloads directory, right? I'm going to use the terminal from now on, okay? You just use Anaconda prompt. So for me, let's say, okay, I turn on my computer today. Tomorrow, I'm going to start doing assignment, and you're going to open Anaconda prompt. It's going to look like this. And always pay attention to the left side. It's going to say base environment. So your first step will always be Conda activate. Okay, whatever name that you use. And then from there, we're going to use Jupyter Lab. So it'll be like Jupyter Lab. And then hit enter. Okay, don't do it now unless you have finished installation. Okay, otherwise Jupyter Lab is not available yet. You won't be able to use anything. You might see any error message, but let's double check in here. So this is actually what we're going to cover maybe later today or maybe next week. I'm not sure how far we go. But if you go to the Jupyter section here, and it's going to show you, right, what do you do and what command do you need to type to launch this Jupyter Lab. Okay. And also pay attention to this one, pip install. We already use Conda or Mamba to install everything. Okay. You don't need to use pip. The only one I put in here is for someone that don't use Conda or Mamba, just to let them know you will need this package. Okay. We already installed. Don't try to use pip. Avoid using Conda and pip to install stuff, mix the environment, because you're going to have trouble. Okay. We use Conda, we already figure out everyone is happy with each other, working with each other, compatible with each other. If you suddenly have some pip, you just dump a bunch of people in like there, they might fight with each other later. You have no idea until you actually ask them to do something. But you can do it, but what I'm saying is not the best practice. So if you can type, just hit Jupyter Lab and then hit enter, you should open up a new tab in your browser, and then you can start doing coding. So let me see if this is finished yet or not. Okay, we are almost there. So Jupyter Lab is the next generation of Jupyter Notebook, but sometimes we use things interchangeably. Jupyter Notebook is there in the early days. It was called Jupyter Notebook, but now people also call Jupyter Lab Jupyter Notebook, like refer to the same thing, and it's kind of like ArcMap and ArcGIS Pro. Okay, so Jupyter Lab is kind of ArcGIS Pro, and Jupyter Notebook is ArcMap. Okay, but sometimes people still say ArcMap or ArcGIS, or now just generally say ArcGIS. Same idea. So Jupyter Lab has a lot more functionality. It has been rebuilt. So going forward, you want to use Jupyter Lab, but Jupyter Lab can be used to execute Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Lab can be used to create Jupyter Notebook. So it's just kind of like you can use Microsoft Office 365 to create Word document. You can also use Microsoft 2003 to create documents, but they're just different version, right? So DocDoc is kind of like Jupyter Notebook. DocDocX is Jupyter Lab. So similar analogy. So once it's done, then you can either continue here, or you can open a new terminal and pay attention, right? Geo, and also depends on where is this file path, it's going to open the file under this directory. So if you go to your home page, sometimes when you open up, you're going to open up a home page, you're going to see a bunch of folders. So what I would recommend is make sure you change the directory. So let me do it one more time in here. For example, if I'm going currently under my user computer in here, go to see this one. So right now my Anaconda prompt doesn't really work. But if you go to all apps and then go to Miniconda, if you open the Anaconda prompt, probably it will open the directory under here, under user directory. So C and then your user and then your name, blah, blah, something like that. So for me, for example, here, if I open this one up on the terminal, by default, your Anaconda prompt will show this directory. Maybe, I'm not quite sure. Is it? Okay. So if this is not, if your Jupyter notebook is not stored here, you want to change directory, either your C drive, your D drive, or whatever drive, right? So for me, for example, I have all my notebook under the downloads directory or the documents directory. So for example, let's say I'm going to go to my documents and I'm going to create a new directory that I'm going to use throughout this course. Then I can create a new directory in here and then folder. So for me, I would say GOG, for example, 312, whatever name you like. And so usually you want to open your Jupyter notebook within this directory rather than on your home directory, more direct. So what you can do here is doing something like this. CD and then documents. In here, document, you can hit tab, it will auto-complete, okay? And then GOG 312. Oh, I had a typo in here, sorry. That's why it doesn't show up. So it should be GEO. Okay. And let me do it one more time here. So CD, okay, and just type document, and then GEO. I hit tab, it's autocomplete, and then hit enter. So now CD means change directory. So the same, I'm getting into this room, and now I'm still doing stuff in this room. So if you're trying to watch a movie, right, you need to have a TV in that in that room. Otherwise, you cannot watch the TV. Because we have installed things into this computer, and I want to open a notebook under this directory, so you need to change the directory to here. After that, Conda activate, okay? So you get into this room, open the door, get inside, and you start doing stuff. Yes? No, you can activate first and then change directory, or you can change directory first and then activate. So it doesn't matter, the sequence doesn't matter. So after that, you can just type Jupyter Lab space here. Let me see if the finished installation or not. My goodness, it's finished. So my computer is not that bad, but because it's the recording, so taking a lot of space. And let me try, see if it works. If it doesn't, then we just need to wait. So if you just Jupyter space lab, hit enter, it should open up. Okay, it's not ready yet, so that means it's still finishing the installation. So for you guys, if you already finished, when you hit enter, see if you get any error message. It might show you a bunch of stuff and then open a new tab, then you are good to go. Otherwise, that means you have not installed the packages successfully. Let me close this one. Oh. Anyway, I'm just going to show you first time because I used to have all the things set up, but I want to show you step by step. So I install everything, delete everything. Now it takes time for me to reinstall, but hopefully it's easier for you to do that on your local computer. And so after that, this is, if you type those, it's going to pop up and then show you the interface like this. And any of you see that interface now? Yes, then you're good to go. And see, these are some of the shortcuts we show you later, or maybe in the next lecture, we're going to show you how to do that. Kind of like right now, I'm showing you how to install Microsoft Word document. And then next time I'll show you how to write, okay, using different tools. But it's pretty easy to use, and then not all the things you need to remember. After you're doing things for a while, it becomes your muscle memory, and then you don't need to remember. There are only a couple shortcuts. Again, I'll show you later. So this is the environment that we can use to do coding. We may not use this one all the time, and this one you can also after you install Jupyter Lab or Jupyter Notebook, we can also use Visual Studio Code to open all the Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so Jupyter Lab is the interface used to open Jupyter Notebook, but Jupyter Notebook can be opened by other software. Understand? So basically, kind of like you can use Microsoft Word Office to open docx, right? But there are also other software support opening docx. Okay, kind of like, for example, I don't know, Mac computer might also can be used to open, may or may not. But PDF, for example, PDF you can use Adobe. You can use the Google Chrome. There are so many ways you can open the PDF. So what we want is use Jupyter Notebook, but Jupyter Notebook can be opened by different software. Jupyter Lab is one of those. Jupyter Lab is the one that officially support developing Jupyter Notebook, improving the format. So it's nice to have, but Jupyter Lab has some limitations. It doesn't have all the AI. It's a lot difficult to have those extensions. So Visual Studio Code is so much better, but this is the one that you're going to see from the online. There are a lot of free cloud computing environment. They pretty much all use Jupyter Lab, so you do need to be familiar with this. But we might not use it all the time. Mostly we use Visual Studio Code, but sometimes things doesn't work. Then we come back to Jupyter Lab. So again, I hope it's finished. Oh, finally done. So you see here, it's finished. Now I can probably show you here. Type Jupyter Lab. Oh, by the way, I need to Conda activate Geo. Okay. So every time when you start a computer, you want to start doing stuff, open your Anaconda prompt or your terminal, CD change to a directory. Okay, I already do the CD. So make sure that this directory is where you want to open the notebook, where your notebook is being stored. Then just type Jupyter Lab. Space, hit enter. And it's open new tab on your browser. Don't close this one, okay? Otherwise, your Jupyter notebook, your Jupyter Lab will be dead. So this is more like behind the scene. It's like a command line. And this is the one showing all the status. So don't close this one if you're using Jupyter Lab. Otherwise, this one will not be functioning. Okay. So you can close it after you finish everything. Then you can come back to here. You can just close it, or you can press Ctrl+C to stop it if you want to keep using the terminal. And as you can see, now we're using this one, and it's not very fancy, but it gets the work done. And when you use it, from time to time. So here, what you can do is to, for example, click this one, and it's going to say you can go create a new notebook. And so the name here is called untitled.ipynb. So all the Jupyter notebook, the file extension will be .ipynb. IPYNB stands for IPython notebook. So Jupyter notebook actually is built on top of so-called IPython. In the early days, it's Python and then IPython and then Jupyter Notebook and now Jupyter Lab. So they are kind of multiple generations. So in here, what you can do is create a new one, and you might see a gray dot upper right corner there. That means the file has not been saved yet. Just like you open a Microsoft Word document and then you have a star or something on there. So what you can do is Control+S, Control+S. Then it's pop up asking you to, for example, like the give a name. So I can say testing. Then hit enter. Then on the left side here, this is the table the file browser. So you will see the file being saved under your computer, on your computer. So if you go to your directory, you look at this one. Do you see the one here? Testing.ipynb. So right now we're using it to create all the file will be saved on your local computer. And this ipynb is actually a txt file. You can actually open using Notepad. It's not something like binary file, so it's just txt file. And from here, you can start writing code, right? So this is a so-called a code block. You can just say print, okay, parentheses, and then inside you can say double quotes, hello, world. And then you can just use this button, the play button here, execute. It's pretty quick. So this is Python code. This is what we are actually doing right now. And we cover more next week about the Python syntax, variables, and then data types. For now, just showing you this is how you launch a Jupyter Notebook. So if you find some source code on the internet, and first you need to figure out what dependency you require, you use Conda or Mamba to install all the dependencies, and then you just copy and paste and dump the source code in here. It will work. Okay. So for example, let's try to use div map. Let's try to create some interactive map. So we can type import div map, LEAF map, and then you can have press Alt Enter, or Control Enter or Shift Enter. That's the keyboard shortcut you can use to execute source code. And so diff map built on top of other packages. And after import, again, we cover this one in the second half of the semester. Right now, just showing you, like, okay, how do we create some maps? So m equal to diff map dot map, and then just type m, alt enter. See, so we're creating a map, and you should be able to zoom in and zoom out. Upper right here, there's an icon. You can turn layer on and off. I can change the opacity, something like that. Pretty easy. So just 2 lines of code. We are creating an interactive map. And you can change the base map. For example, you can come here, the first icon. I can switch any base map you like, Google Satellite, Google Hybrid. I can Esri, for example, world imagery. Right? So there are hundreds of base maps available. I can do open topo map. Okay. And if you want, you can turn the layer on and off. Oops. Close it. I can change the opacity. I can do all kinds of things. I can full screen, zoom in, zoom out. Okay. See how easy it is. This is how you can use those packages to do all kind of geospatial stuff. Right now, I'm just showing you like this is pretty easy and straightforward. And you can go online to copy, find any source code, and then just come back here, change it. So, for example, I go to maybe the leaf map website. So, you might be finding a lot of examples from here. So I can maybe, how about this? I'm going to go to leaf map website, and then from left side, map libre, okay? And I'm going to show you which one we're going to use. You go to the Overture maps. Overture, okay? This is the one that I just created this morning. Pretty fresh. So if you come back to any notebook like this, you might be seeing from other website. And it's going to show you this is behind the scene. This is a notebook, okay? This is actually a notebook. Upper right corner here, there's a button. Or you can just simply copy, paste. It's up to you. But for me, I would just click this button, and then it will download this one to computer. So look at this one. Behind the scene is .ipynb, so it's a notebook, right? So if you want to execute this notebook on a local computer, right? So I'm going to save this file to my documents, and then to my GOG 312. So save to the directory where you already opened Jupyter Lab, right? So that we can open the file. So what I can do is to just save, all right? And then if you come back to Jupyter Lab, if it doesn't show up quickly, you can click the refresh button. See that? It's coming out in here. Kind of like you're downloading a PDF from the internet, and you want to read the PDF, Adobe. So after that, double click. It should open a new tab in here. And this is where you can actually execute source code, right? So now you should be able to open any Jupyter notebook you get from somewhere. So let's try these things out because we already installed diff map. So we should be able to run all these things easily. And so click this button. We are importing the libraries. Again, right now you probably don't understand what is this doing. That's fine. It's just importing a library. But that library has different functionalities. So we're using the so-called map libre. And after that, right, I'm going to read the 3D buildings. Again, don't worry too much right now about what that one is doing, but just execute it and see. I can full screen and look at this. Right, it's only a couple lines. I can show buildings in 3D at the global scale. Again, we cover this more later this semester, but right now just give you some flavor. You can go anywhere around the globe, and the 3D buildings has global coverage. Depends on the internet. Sometimes it might be a little bit slow, but you're welcome to go anywhere. And you zoom in. After that, it's going to show you all those buildings. And this is all free, open access. So, for example, I can turn the layer on and off. I can turn on the imagery layer. And you can also press Control. Press Control on your keyboard, and then drag the mouse. Left click. You can also like doing rotating. So, for example, I turn on the data layer, right? You can zoom in like this. You can turn 360 degree, and I can turn this one on. You can go try to look at the building that you're living in. Look at your hometown, see if there's any building in there. And these are all free open access data. You don't need to pay anything. So it can help you visualize data very, very easily and quickly. And you can go anywhere. You can also change the base map. Again, we cover later this semester. But now I'm showing you, you can download any source code from the internet, figuring out what requirement, what dependency do you need, install them first, and then just executing the source using JupyterLab. That's it. You can run another code block, for example, here. I can run this one. This is just using the 2D, for example. This is not 3D, but you can also get all the building footprints. So if you're doing some research, you need some building data. This one has it, it's global. And you also have building height, you have 3D information. If you're doing transportation, anyone doing transportation, there's also transportation data layer. And you have a street roads network for the entire globe. And look at this. Right? When you have a mouse, you can also see a lot of information. It also shows you all those connectors, basically the road intersection. Right? And you can go anywhere. So this is really powerful stuff. If you know how to access this for free, there are a lot of things you can do. All right, so just to show you some of this, again, once you're done, depends on whether you want to save this one or not. This button here shows basically means it's not saved yet. So if you close it, if you want to save the changes, you save, or you Control S. Otherwise, you can say discard. So in that way, if you open again, it'll be just like what you download earlier. Questions? Easy, right? Create the environment and then download stuff, testing things, and make changes. After that, you should be able to do some coding. So this is how we can use JupyterLab to install. How to use Conda to install packages. Set up the environment and then start exploring. Once you're done, so assume that, okay, I'm finishing up for today. I'm done. Then you can just simply close this one. Then you'll be gone. Then you can close the terminal or your Conda Conda prompt. Right now, you see sometimes you have a bunch of errors. It's fine. Some package is not working properly. This is more like just a log. So after that, you can just close this one, or you can just use Control C. You might need to press multiple times. Then until you see this line coming up, then you are good, okay? And after that, you can close it. Then you're done for today. So if you want to start again tomorrow, then you open the terminal again and open up prompt again, CD, and then JupyterLab, same thing. So repeat it one more time, right? Most of my stuff is in here. When I just open my folder, open terminal. And so because I'm already opening this directory, so I don't need to change directory. After that, just Conda activate Geo, hit the right arrow key on your keyboard. So you don't need to type all the time. And then just hit enter. Then JupyterLab. And you open it up. You can also use Visual Studio Code. So next one I'm going to show you here. We have we have 15 minutes. So next one I'll show you the other way, okay? Using Visual Studio Code. That's the one they want to use throughout the semester. You are welcome to use this one, but like I said, this one doesn't really have a lot of AI stuff. Visual Studio Code has those extensions, allows you to use AI, so it's so much easier for doing coding and a lot more efficient. But let's close this one for now. Oops. Okay, Control C, and I'm done. So let me open the website here one more time, then go to Visual Studio Code, okay? So we have already installed this one last time. You should be able to find this one also on the lab computer in here. Next time, right now, I'm showing you some of the so-called extensions. So first, open Visual Studio Code. You can go to your all apps. Not sure if this thing under here. If you're using Mac computer, you can on your terminal just type code CODE. It's open Visual Studio Code. Okay. So for me, you'll be here. This one, Visual Studio Code, and then just open it. If you are using Mac computer or Linux, so let me show in here. Open the terminal. very slow. You can type CODE and then period. Period means current directory. So it's going to open Visual Studio Code under your current directory. So if I hit enter, I'm not sure if it works or not. Might be just Windows. Anyway, it doesn't work. Then you can open Visual Studio Code first, and then you can open the directory. So again, right now we have this one open. So it should be pretty empty right now. So here you can have multiple options. Open file, a new file is open file, open folder. So usually you want to open the directory. Then you can see all the things inside. So I'm going to click this open folder. Okay. And then go to your directory, documents, GOG312. Okay. And then just select the directory. It should open those stuff. So now on the left side here, you should see this one, 2 notebooks. And okay, if you presented this window, just click trusted. I trusted the authors. Okay. So on the left side, how many buttons do you see on your computer? Do you have anything here? I'm not quite sure. 5? Okay. So you might have some. So this is basically coming from the extension. And so for this class, I would recommend some of the extension. But you see here, I have the last one here called Chat. This one is kind of like GitHub Copilot, kind of like ChatGPT. Okay. You probably don't have this one. You have not installed the extension yet. You can try it out, so you can get it for free. So maybe after this class, the assignment today is that if you have, since you're a student, you're a UT, so you have the UTK email, you can sign up this one for free. Otherwise, I think it's $10 per month. So, but it's going to help you a lot. As beginners, if you don't want to use it, that's fine as well. Some people resistant, but it's helpful. So if you use it to your advantage, it can make your life so much easier. So what you can do is to just go to Google and then just search GitHub Copilot. And I think like student or something. Yeah, GitHub Copilot student. Then from here, students, GitHub Education. Then you can join the GitHub Education, and then I think you need to verify your student status. I'm the teacher. You select the students, and then just follow the instructions to be verified. Then you will be accessing this one for free. Otherwise, you have to pay. If you don't like it, you don't have to use it. So it's up to you. But I'm just showing you this is the free benefits that you can get as a student if you have the .edu email address. So this is one thing you might want to try out. Next, let me show you how to install packages. Okay, so Visual Studio Code is free and open source. It's very powerful. It's the most popular editor for programming. It support R, support Python, support C++, JavaScript, HTML. Like, but it's just I think about just a text editor. You can install extensions and then it will support those. So the first thing that you need to do is to install extensions. So let me show you here. If you go to this page, here I'm showing you a couple like useful extensions. You don't need to install all of them. This is all the extensions that I use daily. And some of those are very useful for me when I'm doing software development. But for beginners, you probably don't need that many, but you do need some of those. So I think starting from here, these couple ones, they're probably that you need. The first one is Python. I'm not sure if it has already been installed on a lab computer or not. If not, so open this one. And then on the left side by here, find out this one. This like the 4 squares. And then with one in the upper right, little bit pop up. This is where you install all the extensions. Okay. So what you want to do is to search each one based on the name showing up here that I recommend. The first one definitely need is Python. Okay. If there's no install, then you need to install it. So what you can here do is come to here, just search Python. If it is already installed, then you are good. So the first one here, you see Python. And if you have not installed it, you should see this button here on the right. If this installed, then just forget about it. You can click here. It's going to show you uninstall this variable or something like that. So have this one installed. Just click the button, install if it's not installed yet. Is it installed on the lab computer here? No? Then you install it. On your personal computer, install it. So this is the first one. And the next one will be just Jupyter. Okay, Jupyter. So this is the one that you need in order to execute Jupyter Notebook within Visual Studio Code. Again, those Jupyter, okay, install. And what else? VS Code icons. You probably can use this one. So you're gonna have a bunch of files showing up on the browser. So if you don't have those right now, probably your icon looks a bit different than mine, or it might not have an icon at all. So it's good to have some of those nice looking icons. So again, just come here and then search VS Code icons and click. So you see here how many people install this one? 18 million times. So it's pretty popular one. And you can install those one by one. VS Code icons. Another one that would be useful would be the Markdown. Okay, so the Markdown throughout the semester, you're gonna either write Jupyter Notebook or you're gonna write Markdown. So Markdown is basically kind of like source code, text and images all together. And Jupyter Notebook is also using Markdown. So you do need to know some Markdown. We covered that in next couple of weeks. But now just install it and I'll show you how to use it. So again, come to here and then just search Markdown. RKDOW. Markdown all in one, okay? And then install it. The last one you want, optional, will be the GitHub Copilot. Like I said, you do need to have a subscription. You can get it for free if you're students. Otherwise, you need to pay. So after it's installed, you will see here, you're going to have some new icons on the left side. Everyone is different. So this is where I can use GitHub Copilot. Okay? And I can ask any questions without having to go to ChatGPT, do something. Okay. So for example, I can ask, create an interactive map using leaf map. Sure, you see, and I'm gonna install packages and blah blah, give you some source code. Right? How cool it is. The code may not work, okay? Sometimes it's just like ChatGPT. You need to do the debugging, but you can like have it very conversational, and you can just do things in here. You can copy paste without having to leave Visual Studio Code. So you can get things done just by doing everything in here. Again, that's optional. You can try it out if you want to. So after you finish all the installation, then you can come here. You can open, for example, double click. It should open a notebook in here, right? And this is the same thing that we're doing in Jupyter Lab, but there are a couple more settings that need to be doing. Is that when you open a notebook, upper right corner here, upper right here, it's going to ask you select a kernel, okay? So in order to run a Jupyter Notebook, you need to have a kernel. And the kernel is basically something in the background that's running. It's similar to when you open an Conda prompt, and when you are executing Notebook and then have a bunch of stuff printing out in that command prompt, that's basically just the kernel is doing things. So you can have multiple kernels, multiple environments. So each Conda environment has a kernel inside that we can use to execute Python code. Okay. So what you need to do here after you open the notebook is to select the kernel. So if you click this button here, select a kernel, and it's going to pop up in here, Python environment, existing Jupyter server. You want to select Python environment. And after that, it should pop up this one. So what you need to do is select the environment that we created earlier, right? You see the one here? The Geo one is the one that I created, right? And you can also see the file path in here. So I'm going to select this Geo environment. Then you can start executing source code. Without a kernel, you cannot run Python code, okay? Python needs a kernel to run. Basically, you need the program. The kernel contains the program there. After that, I can start using this one, run this, run this. I hope it works. Okay. See? Now I can do the same thing, just like I'm doing Visual Studio Code well. And you can create a new code block. Example here, I can say map.add autocomplete. So now we have this all like the editor, the functionality, right? I can add base map underscore base map hybrid. See? Autocomplete. This is AI, okay? I don't type. It figure out what I want to do, right? So I can also do something here. Okay, open. See, it's recommended the suggestion, just like you're typing email in your Gmail, right? So now it's autocomplete. You won't have this one in the Jupyter Lab, okay? This is only possible through Visual Studio Code with the intelligence, okay? So, and then I can just hit tab, done, run it. Okay, so now I have the map, and you can have things in here. Well, I can turn layer on and off. So this is another way you can run Python code in Visual Studio Code. Again, you do need a kernel. So if you don't have a kernel in here, you cannot do things. So just Conda create the environment, it will show up in here. Right now we only have one, so it's okay. But if you can go here, select another kernel, Python environment, you can switch. Okay. So sometimes if each notebook need a specific has some specific requirement, you can change the kernel. Just like right now you're taking 312, you're in this room. Later you need to go to the other class, you go to the other room, and you can do different stuff. So it's up to you which environment you're going to use. Just set up the environment, and then you can start executing Python code. Questions? So this pretty much the two packages, two software that you need to set up. So make sure you set it up on your personal computer. For the lab computer, it should be already set up. And the last one is Git. You don't really need this one. This is more like if you really want to develop software, you need to push things to GitHub. Then eventually you will need something like this. But it's not a requirement. So we don't have time to cover this all that. But I do want to show you one way, right? If you go to GitHub, so for example, I'm going to go to the leaf map website, okay, and I'm going to the click upper right here, go to the GitHub web page. Okay, so GitHub is the free open source repository that you can put source code. So later on, you want to share something with other people, then you can push things to GitHub. Then you do need to know Git, okay? But for now, it's beginner. You only need to know how to get stuff from GitHub, okay? So there are two ways. The first way is to go here. If you go to any repository, there's a button here. You can download the entire repository as a zip file, okay? So this is the easy way that you don't need any software. The second way is to use Git. So if you go to here, and it's going to tell you HTTPS, and then this is a Git. So Git basically is a protocol that you can use to do version control. And if you want, I can also use Visual Studio Code to open. So let me show you what you can do. So hit Control S, and then File. I can just close the folder. Go back to the close the folder. Go back to the landing page. Okay, and from the landing page, you should see this one here, Clone Git Repository. Can you see this option? And you can click this button, and it's going to show you here. So what you can do here, you can go to, for example, any Git repository, and you can just click the code. It's going to have this HTTPS. You copy the link, and then you come back to here, on the repository, paste, hit enter, and then you support by asking him to where you want to download. Okay. Then from here, I can select a directory. I'm going to put into my downloads directory, and it's going to clone. So this is the same as the command line. Lower right corner here, you can see the progress. So it depends on how big is the file. It's going to take a couple minutes to download all the files. So this is similar. You download the zip file, but the advantage of this one is you don't need to repeatedly download the entire file. When you git pull, it will just pull the latest changes. So only get the difference. Again, right now it's too much for you, but just letting you know, this is another way of getting the source code from the internet to your Go computer. And it might be done very quickly. So let me go to my downloads directory just to show you where's the file, right? So leave map, and hopefully be done very quickly, maybe in a minute or two. You should have all the files from repository. And similarly, if you want to, for example, follow this class, you can go to this class homepage. So let me show you, right? Go to our class homepage and then go to the Git repository. Again, come here, click this link. You can download all the notebook for this class. And then you only need to do that once. In the future, it's just Git pull. It will automatically pull the latest changes. So let me do it one more time here. It's still doing. Let me open this one and then Control V, hit enter, and download this one. Go to my downloads directory and then select. And this one is a smaller one, so it should be pretty quick. Okay, and then open your new directory. Boom. Now you should have all the notebook that I created for this class. And if you go to the book directory, Python, right, you have all the notebook all at once on your computer. So in the future, I'm going to open this one and show you stuff. We try to do that again next in the next lecture, but by now you should know how to get source code and then set it up and then start writing Python code. So practice, make sure the environment is set up, and I will see you next week. If you cannot follow, video will be uploaded in 10 minutes and we watch it over the weekend. Okay, so see you next week.